The thing I don't really care for her is she covers like all these criminal cases, right? So she's been covering Nancy Guthrie.
If this is any family members or anybody that's close or anybody that feels traumatized by things, that this is from Psychic Visions. If you put together all the top psychic mediums in the world, that's going to be about 80% accurate.
Okay. Hello everybody, my name is Florio. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. So this video is going to be a little bit different. What we're going to do here is I thought that I would scatter in a little bit of like some light dip sort of research or reaction videos throughout the week when we're doing the bigger videos. So I have some smaller stuff that we can also look at. So it's not going to be like big deep dives, but we're going to kind of review something together. And I was thinking about sort of concentrating these on psychics specifically, because I know you guys enjoy watching the psychic content most of all, and I have this huge list of psychics that you guys have given me that you wanted me to do some deep dives on. And I know I just have so much on my plate all the time. I'm trying to kind of mix up the content between some different areas, so I don't always get to everything. So I thought, why don't I just do like little videos about some of these psychics, and then if something is really interesting to people, maybe then we concentrate on that one for a deep dive, like put that higher up on the list. So I thought for now, let's do some little dips of some psychic videos. All right, let's dive into this particular video. To start, we're going to revisit this Donna Seraphina person. Reverend, it's not difficult to get that, ordained. Donna Seraphina, psychic. We've looked at her before in the past, and it's just a bunch of BS. So essentially, her backstory is that her daughter was, I believe, murdered, and that, I can't remember if it's an open case still or whatever it might be, but this is what got her to tap into her psychic abilities and start doing psychic stuff. Okay, so her daughter took her own life. I could have sworn that somewhere she wrote that she thought that her daughter was murdered or something. There's another psychic that we're going to be covering in another little dip dive that their child also died in the same manner, and she spiraled as well. So like, I mean, I've had someone too in my life die in the same manner. It's very traumatic. It's pretty much, well, it is exactly the same kind of psychological reaction as someone who is murdered. Like the cops told me that too, and they were like, yeah, you should go for this counseling because you're gonna have the same psychological reaction as trauma of someone who has died from homicide. It's like a similar trauma, so like it can definitely cause a spiral for sure. She does talk about here, okay, she's legally ordained. I'm assuming that she is certified medium. There's no such thing as a certification. Bachelor degree in criminal justice and worked as a social worker. Who knows? I'd have to it'd be interesting to actually double check her stuff, because I have gone through and started working on some of her claims, and they're coming back as no, she's lying. So she says after the death of her daughter, became full-time quest to find her daughter and explore the world of spirit, studied extensively amongst all mediums, blah, 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 like everyone says, all these thousands of hours, etc., etc., etc. She does sell courses as well to train yourself to be a medium, and obviously she makes money off people, as do all the psychic mediums. So you can take a look at some of her stuff. She gets real nutty. There's like alien stuff. I don't know. And like the thing I don't really care for her is she covers like all these criminal cases, right? So she's been covering Nancy Guthrie. So I was going through to grab some images of her video for this video, and I listened like the first beginning of this, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to throw this in this video so you guys can see like just how inappropriate she is. Okay. Keep in mind, at some point in this video, I'm going to show you that she cold calls families by emailing them, contacting them, and trying to say that she had a reading or that she had a vision of her, like their like family member in trouble, and she has all the answers. Like, so just keep that in mind, that she does do this to families. She's one of these psychics, and these type of psychics are so friggin' gross.
Okay, so I just want to give this warning. If this is any family members or anybody that's close or anybody that feels traumatized by things, that this is from Psychic Visions.
I just want to point out, make sure everyone heard that. She is saying that if you are a family member, a friend, or anyone close to Nancy Guthrie, that you shouldn't be upset if you see this because it's from a psychic, which means that she's aware that people get upset about this. So like, why are you doing this? And then she says a bunch of wackadoo stuff here.
If you put together all the top psychic mediums in the world, the strongest psychic medium, that's going to be about 80% accurate. You would never expect it to be 100% accurate. Just because I said it doesn't mean I'm trying to convince anybody. And I myself hope that Nancy comes walking out and this was all a big, diversion from the Epstein files, which it is anyways.
Can we stop this rhetoric about everything's a distraction from the Epstein files? If everything's a distraction from the Epstein files and we're not allowed to talk about anything else, like the Epstein files is serious, yes, but you can't discount everything else going on in the world and just call it a distraction to the Epstein files. That's a slap in the face to the other people that are missing, hurt, whatever, with all the news going on. Not everything is a distraction to the Epstein files.
The fact that other podcasters have not even covered that possibility, I think tells you something about those podcasters and their real agendas and what they're really doing. They're not going to take on the power structure. They're going to try to stick their head up the ass of the power structure in order for clickbait, click views, whatever. Really.
Clickbait? Nancy Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie. Clickbait? Girl, your whole freaking channel is clickbait. This is all clickbait. Seriously? And yet I don't see a bajillion videos about the Epstein files here. Anyway, back to the original video I was making. And I know like fans of her have left comments in my videos are like, oh, she knew all about the Lori Vallow Daybell situation, the whole crime that happened there. She knew before anyone else. She solved the whole thing. And then they're like, oh, she's doing Nancy Guthrie. She knows everything. This woman just consumes a lot of true crime and she consumes a lot of news and she's on top of everything. And so she'll like release something. I've noticed like she'll release something and it will coincide with something like in the news or something that the detectives found. And then she'll say that she recorded it the night before or something. Like I looked at her before and that happened. But we're not going to go through all of her stuff because it would take me forever to do. But this is, I do believe that all she does is stays on top of the news and stays on top of different crimes and whatnot going on. And she is just a good guesser and good at deducing things and breaking it down. If she actually has a criminal justice career, that also might be why she knows where to find the news. She knows where to find things before they hit the news. She knows how to connect all the dots and make it seem like she's solving a crime when all she's doing is taking the information that the detectives also have too and just coming to the same conclusions as them. All right. The reality is she's lied about stuff in the past. You can't believe someone like this. She does say some nutty things like that aliens come and talk to her and different things like that. But this is what bothers me too. She does like a lot of kids, a lot of true crime. I don't like psychics that do this. I really don't like psychics that get involved in true crime, get involved in anything to do with kids, missing kids, crime against children. And I also don't like psychics that do healing and health related medical stuff because all medical is dangerous to do because you're not a doctor. And this stuff I just think is completely distasteful and disrespectful to the families, right? So that's a little bit of a rundown of her. So I'll just show you too. So she has a Patreon as well where you can pay. How much is her? I don't even think. She only has 2 posts, so $5 a month. She might not be maintaining this because it says only 2 posts. She's got her TikTok as well. Like she's got a whole thing on Nancy Guthrie and stuff here too. She's got her Facebook as well here. All right. And looking at this, it looks like she, there's a lot of psychics that do that. They'll reach out to family and friends and be like, I'll solve your case for you. I just think that that's really inappropriate. They give them like false hope. They also waste the police time as well. So she's saying here that she basically needs to cold read you. Like she needs to talk to you and do a reading on you in order to confirm this information that she's gotten. So essentially, she wants to do cold reading on a victim of, like, you know, family, friends, whatever, of their children that are missing in the middle of all this. That's... wow, this is just, she already did pre-reading. So she's essentially cold calling on these people. She's hoping to like build her brand through that, right? So as always with her, she's always doing this true crime stuff. She really wants to be this psychic detective and build around all this. It's, I find it really gross. And she has her TikTok, or not TikTok, sorry, X. But the main thing that I wanted to kind of cover, this is going to be, again, these little dip videos, small video. So main thing I want to cover with this, when I started looking into her, I just honestly haven't had the time to dive deeper, and maybe one day I will with her, because I don't really care for all the stuff that she does. But it's this. Lori Vallow Daybell. So this is the case. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but this woman, she ended up like joining a cult, and then she ended up killing all of her children and everything. Her and this new husband or whatever, that was like the cult leader. They both cheated on their spouses, and they kind of took off together and got married and so forth. That's sort of the general, not to like simplify it, but I just don't want to do like a deep dive into each case when we do these little dips into psychics, but definitely go check out, do some more research on this case if you are interested to find all the exact details about what happened to the poor kids and everything here.
We call Lori Daybell the Doomsday Cult Mom. She's convicted of killing her fourth husband and trying to kill her niece's ex-husband. That's after she was already convicted in Idaho for the murders of her two youngest children, 7-year-old JJ and 16-year-old Tylee, as well as for conspiring to kill her fifth husband's first wife, Tammy Daybell. In July of 2023, she received 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Prosecutors argued that Daybell's extreme religious beliefs, which included apocalyptic prophecies and labeling her children as zombies, motivated the murders.
So this website here this is created by Donna. This is her website. So she goes on to talk about what she did in this trial. Reverend Donna's insights and contributions were submitted to the district attorney by the Rexburg Police Department and the FBI, leading to the inclusion of her work in the trial. Okay. She wrote this, by the way. As the trial unfolded, Reverend Donna's unique abilities and intuitive insights gained widespread recognition. Nobody was talking about her. She was not in the news for this case. As the trial progressed, Reverend Donna's testimony became a focal point of the proceedings. Legal experts debated the admissibility of psychic evidence, with some arguing that it should be considered hearsay and therefore inadmissible in court. It is spectral evidence, and it is not allowed in the American courts. Here we go. The judge ultimately allowed her testimony, acknowledging that, while unconventional, it could potentially provide valuable information that could aid in the search for truth. So Reverend Donna involvement sparked nationwide conversation about the role of psychics in criminal investigations. She was not discussed in the news of this case. Okay. I just wanted to kind of cover that, because legally speaking, that is all BS. A judge would never allow a psychic's testimony as evidence. That is, no, it's total BS. It's just made up. All right. So she ended up, like, as you can see, this is why I say she consumes all the content around a case. And that's why she's able to create these like accurate readings. Look at how much work she has put into this website, how much of the content she has consumed, how deep, like she researches the case over and over and over. Like she finds every little thing so that when she does her like channeling, it seems very accurate, when all she's done is done a ton of research. She has a ton of time on her hands and she's good at research. She's got everything in here. Like every little thing is in here. This is her website. She's got here like an article she wrote saying that the FBI used her information. Okay, this is just her writing. This is just all her. She wrote all this stuff. She ended up writing a book for this too. It used to be like on the side. Okay, so this is her book that she had on here, and that is the only thing that she has written so far for Amazon. All right. This is an essay from a contest on who could prove the afterlife. The best proof I have to offer is my psychic readings on this case. The date stamp assigned by YouTube proves the validity of my claims beyond any skeptical doubt. This is what she does. She like timestamp dates her videos to say that she saw it before the investigators and she's the one who gave it to them, blah, 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 blah. But she's just like on top of everything because you can find stuff before it reaches the mainstream news. Like you can find things in different locations. You can get updates on court cases before some journalist writes an article about it. There's different websites and places that you can log in, you can track stuff, and it just hasn't hit the mainstream news yet. And this is what she does. She just immerses herself in something. If she was at the court case, there would be record of it. If I did like a FOIL request, if she was so detrimental in solving this case and her information was accepted by the police and the FBI and was submitted to the courts and the judge also allowed her to speak and testify on the stand, if this was all true, it should be in the FOIA request, right? I then started looking to see who can I contact. So I ended up I did email the police department, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. But I ended up emailing the person who is in charge of the FOIA stuff to do with this case. Like when you do like a FOIL or FOIA request for the Daybell murder case, there's like a contact of a person that you can get in touch with regarding it. And they also were part of the trial and assist on the trial and kind of like handled all the sort of paperwork stuff and things like that too. So I did end up contacting them because I was like, hey, this is my question. I can do a FOIL request if need be. But I only had this one question of this because there should be testimony in the FOIA or FOIL request. If this psychic, if her stuff was submitted and if she testified on the stand, that should be in the court documents, right? That should be in the actual transcripts of the court. So this woman here, it's from Veracusa Group. I don't know if I should include her name and phone number and stuff. You can just go to veracusagroup.com and figure this out. So she's in charge of, if you want to do a FOIA or FOIL request, you order it through them and you deal with her. And she was also, I believe when I did the research, she was like assistant to the prosecution as well. I did this a while ago. See, July 2025. This is when I started looking into this. Okay, so I sent her an email. I said, hello, I would appreciate if you could spare a moment to confirm a claim made by psychic Donna Seraphina. I do some investigative journalism and I create documentaries on the veracity of psychics exposing fraud in the industry. I found your contact information on FOIA response posted online. That's what it was. Someone did do a FOIA. And I started reading other people because when someone requests a FOIA, you can download the copy of what a person requested. So that's what it was. And this lady's name was on all the documents and on all the requests and everything. And that's how I ended up getting in touch with her. And I read that FOIA and it was a response. And it pretty much is like, we can't get the documents yet because you have to wait like so much time past a case before it becomes kind of like in the public domain. But, I could get them eventually. So I asked her, I'm looking into this psychic. She made a claim that the police, the prosecutor, and the FBI were working with her on the case. And I put a quote that she emerged as a significant factor in solving the case. This is from her website that I just read to you. I showed her the website link. And I said, can you confirm the prosecutor's office was working with her on this case? This article also goes on to say that the judge allowed her testimony. And as far as I understand it, spectral evidence is not admissible in a court of law since the Salem witch trials, which, yeah, I'm looking for a general statement that a psychic did work with these departments or did not. And I just said, like, psychics claim to work with the police, make a mockery out of the whole judicial system, which I really do think so. Unless you did work with her, then that would be the first time a department admits working with a psychic because, yeah, like they really don't. People are like, oh, they just lie, they have to cover their butts. No, these psychics don't actually work with these people. And I said, if you need me to submit a FOIA, I can, but I don't really need records from the trial. I'm just seeking confirmation or denial of people working with the psychic. And I said, I'll try to follow up with you again if I don't hear back, and then I'll proceed with a FOIA request if otherwise. So then she got back to me and she said, hello, Donna was not involved in the investigation or the trial in any form. I just said, thank you for confirming that. I appreciate it and I appreciate your time. And she said, my pleasure. You can find this person's info all online. I just wasn't sure if I should blank it out in the email, but like it's on this website, it's everywhere. So I'm going to show it on the other websites, I guess. It's all public. As you can see, I struggle with this aspect of publicly accessible information. Anyway, you're going to see some blurring and not blurring, and it probably won't make any sense to you. It's fine. So for reference, this person who did get in touch with me about this, she is like a media relations person, and she has, it says on her, because I did look into her, she regularly works with, or is a faculty member of the National District Attorneys Association. She works with lawyers. She's like a media relations that works with lawyers. The Association of Prosecuting Attorneys, the National Association of Prosecutor Coordinator, and dozens of other state prosecutor organizations. She's also served as guest speaker for the Missouri Bar Association, all these other things like this. Yeah, it goes on to say like she was even working on TV and everything too. Communication roles at a few different TV organizations as well. Okay, it looks like here this Reddit link, some people have been actually compiling documents from the trial that they've been getting them as they go. Okay, the Reddit is Lori Vallow. So yeah, it looks like they started accessing the records too. So there is a whole album here, an imager. I don't know if there's any bad words or anything on it, so I might just like blur that out as I was rolling through it. I will link this Reddit post so you guys, if you want to look at some of the documents as well, because the reality too is if they worked with a psychic, if they allowed a psychic testimony, that would have been immediate grounds for an appeal. I mean, I'm just Googling any psychic testimony. They're saying they're relating it to their own belief in their cult spiritualism crap. I don't see anything about in the news. If this was national, like this made national headlines, this, was huge news, like it should have been in the news. Yes, there's Donna because she says that she did this, but the story that she tells about her actually being on the stand and giving testimony, it's complete BS. It's just complete BS. So then if we look into Lori Daybell, Donna Seraphina, if this was such big news, there should be news articles. That's her website. That is Donna's website. That's Donna. This is Donna's stuff, right? And people posting about Donna, but I don't see any news. If this was so groundbreaking, where's the news? I don't even see her in the news here. Oh, also when I did cover Donna as well, so when I covered her, I reacted to her doing one of her courses where she was teaching people how to be a medium. And she even opened it up. I can't remember if I included this or if I edited it out, but the beginning of the session, she was talking about how she was talking about some case or something, and then her Facebook account suddenly wasn't working or didn't let her log in, or it logged her out or something. And then she was like, yeah, the FBI is watching me. They don't like that I know things. And I'm just like, this is wacko. Like this is crazy. I've never heard of this guy. So he apparently covered Donna. Yeah. Tragedy.
Psychic Reverend Donna Seraphina. She is a tragedy who was acknowledged by Kathleen Hale, who is the author of the Vanity Fair article that we're all so much big fans of. She's the other creator that was called out. So we're gonna go over now. Here's the thing about that. I don't really know. I was not familiar with her until she mentioned it. But what do we do here, folks? Is we call out tragedy, and so we are going to we're gonna go over some of her content and see exactly how bad of a tragedy this person is. She was called out in this Vanity Fair thing, and she claims to be a psychic.
There was no relatives to do a reading with, so the procedure I used to do this was to take a photo, look at the little girl, then go sit in my room, kind of in the dark, meditate and pray, and ask to be shown. So that was the first reading, was the 12-minute reading.
All right, well, this guy's interesting. I'll link his video too. I actually hadn't seen this guy before. Okay, this is an odd channel. Anyway, I will link his stuff. I looked up this Vanity Fair article because I forgot to do that at the time when I was recording. I wasn't fully paying attention to what he was saying, but in editing I was, and he was talking about the Vanity Fair article. So now we're back over to the Idaho murders. A small town grapples with sinister rumors, media's true crime obsession grows. So essentially, it talks about how the internet's rumors have ruined the town. I didn't know that Donna was involved in this. I did cover Ashley Gillard's role in this. Like, I don't know what it is with the Idaho murders, man, but there's like the worst of the worst of psychics came out of the woodwork. So it says here that there was a local business and they were a bagel and deli At the time, Smith was paying twice the price for 20% less profit a night. He decided to keep his store double staffed after dark, hoping to make his young employees feel safer and insulate them from the ongoing media harassment. Instead, the store was getting bombarded and borderline terrorized, in Smith's words, by acolytes of YouTube psychic Reverend Donna Seraphina, who told her then 46,000 subscribers that the Moscow murderer, whoever that was at the time, there were no suspects or arrests, baked his own bread at a bread place possibly owned by said murderer's parents. Since posting the video, she gained more than 10,000 subscribers. Then he says, I don't make my own bread. I don't have a son. I've never married. I've never had a child. Yeah, no, Brian Kohlberger had nothing to do with bread. So we can add this to the list as well with Donna. The fact that her followers don't remember this and they're still freaking following her and hanging on her every word is just like, wow. So we have it straight from the person who handles all the media relations, the request, FOIA requests as well. And they've said that, no, she was never on the case. And I will try to find it. I think I saved it somewhere, but there was, I had a link somewhere that showed that the person who responded to me was actually working with the prosecution's office during the case as well and helping them with the media relations stuff. So I'll see if I can try to dig that up because, again, like I started working on this like July last year and I just kind of got like sidetracked from it. Okay, hold on. I think I found it. Let me bring it up for you guys. Sorry. I know these videos are going to be a little bit hectic. So this was, I was looking to figure out where do I do the request, and it was saying like Muck Rock or whatever is where I'm supposed to kind of do it here. There's a place that you can do it in here. Yeah, it's the different requests that were submitted in 2020. Right, the status was rejected at the time. So this person made a public records request for the case. And then they went on to say, thank you. Regarding the transcripts, they wanted transcripts involving the case, including phone calls, video calls, voice message, detailed itemized list of purchases made through commissary. The DOC forwarded the request to my office as I am the prosecutor in this case. The case, I think, was still in progress, or at least in appeals. Well, I am committed to being as transparent as possible in this matter. We have a legal and ethical obligation to protect the integrity of the investigation and the defendant's rights to a fair trial. Therefore, we are limited in what information can be disclosed this time. Yeah. You can't request all the public records stuff until like trials are done, right? When it comes to like criminal, right? Civil can be a bit different. Accordingly, we're denying your request for the information at this time. And there's the section, okay, please note that you have the right to contest this decision under the Idaho Code, prosecuting attorney and Madison County, Idaho. I don't know if I should have put names. I mean, all this stuff is available online. You can just see it. I will link this stuff anyway. But anyways, the prosecuting attorney is who responded to that. And as well on it is also the media relations person who's working with prosecuting attorney. Okay. So this lady who responded to me, she was working with this prosecuting attorney. So she would know if there was a psychic who got on the stand. And this is the second response to this request. See the first response below, and it goes on to explain it as well. Because I believe this was at the time when the case was still going on. Yeah, so the case was, she was arrested in 2020. They made the request in 2020. They were trying to even get information about what she was doing at the time with commissary and in jail while she was waiting for the trial. Too soon to request public record stuff. You can request it later on in life for sure. That just shows you more information about the person that I got in touch with. This one I just wanted to keep short because I know that there's people that leave comments still, and I'd love to be like, hey, she lies. The stuff that she said about this case, the Daybell case, she lied. Everything she's saying is lies. Yeah, here's the video that I can link to people now. That is our little mini video regarding Donna Seraphina. And like I said, I might be able to get some time to do a deep dive on her at some point. I do think that covering a video on her is going to be something that would be a lot of time and effort because she makes a lot of claims and because she spends all of her free time like just obsessing over these cases. I would have to spend a lot of time to show the timelines because it's like she just kind of matches the timelines for when news is released, So it's going to be a lot. Maybe I'll get around to doing her at some point, but hopefully those of you that still believe her can see that she's lying. Like she never worked with the prosecutor. So if she's lying about this, is she not lying about everything else? let's use some critical thinking here, people. Come on. And if people like comment below and you still believe her, like I don't know. I get it. Okay, you're stuck in a belief structure. I get it. It's difficult to move out of your belief structure, but just think about it. Let this thought stick in your head and just ruminate on it, you know, sleep on it. Always keep this thought in mind when you are consuming her content. Hopefully one day it clicks and you snap out of it. All right, but otherwise that is the end of this video. And as we leave the video, we're going to also be thanking all of the patrons and members, you who are able to like, comment, share, hype the video. All that stuff helps bring it into the algorithm. So I do appreciate you guys. And as well, if you want to take a look at any of my psychic deep dives, I will be linking different playlists and everything. There's Ashley Gillard, I think is the last one we did. I've done like a big deep dive on Teresa Caputo and like all the other big, huge psychics too. So definitely go check out that playlist. There's a lot of content there. These are mini ones. My deep dives, my usual videos are very, very long. So if you enjoy long videos, definitely go check that out. Fat cat.